right. Hello, Brain to Belly family. This is Coach Yayoi, and today I have a special guest, Martie Smith. Now, she has been on my radar for a while, and it's been hard to track her down. And I finally got her to come onto my to the group to interview her. So she is a coach. She is an award-winning author, and she's a presenter, and I think she is also something called a resilience ambassador. Now, I'm a little curious about that one, so I want to find out a little bit more about that. And she was in the Air Force as
Yes.
well. So this is a very multifaceted woman, and I'd like to find out a little bit more about her. So Martie, tell us a little bit about your background and all that. And I really want to find out about the resilience ambassador bit. And tell me about your mission too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joy, for inviting me here. And I'm always tickled that anybody and everybody wants to hear my story. Why? Because at one point in time, I was the shy little girl that nobody talked to me, nobody asked me questions. Everything's fine. I don't want to talk about my misery, my limiting beliefs, and all the stuff that I've discovered that I had. I didn't know I had all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, pandemic hits. And I will tell you, let's go back a little bit. I will, when I was 7 years old, I was told I was a mistake by my mom. She obviously didn't have a manual, and I didn't know what was happening, but that instilled in me to prove to myself one day, somehow, somewhere, that I was worth something. I just didn't have the tools. I didn't know how. I didn't know what to do except be a good little girl, obey everything I was told. I was born in Colombia, South America. Right there from the start, at 5 years old, we moved to the United States. So I was in the crossfire of, I don't know what culture I'm in. I don't know what language I'm supposed to speak.
I can
And,
relate.
and I moved a total of 49 times.
Wow.
Okay. So I
Oh,
was a
wow.
nomad. I didn't have long-term relationships with friends. I didn't know where I was, what I had to deal with. As we changed, it always seemed to be Venezuela. We'd go to New York. That's not the same. From Colombia to Venezuela, that's not the same either, even if they speak Spanish. So you can identify with me, I'm sure,
Oh,
because
yes.
it's crazy for a kid to try to figure out what's going on, especially when you're told, don't ask any questions, sit on your hands, behaving, and you're like, I have no clue. One thing that I was very scared or frightened by, that I discovered that Spanish had different dialects.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden I said one thing in Venezuela, and no, that's totally not said that way. In Colombia was a fruit, and I didn't know. So I was like, the best thing for me to do is speak English. It's safe, it's sound, and it's clear cut to me. And that's that's what I stuck with. So for 8 years, I abandoned my native tongue.
Oh my.
The pandemic hits, and this is where the the grit meets the growth. You just gotta
Yes.
go with it.
Yes.
So I went, okay, I've been in a wheelchair, so I'm a living miracle on top of that, because I've had 27 surgeries. God had a huge purpose for me. He wanted me to get out of that wheelchair, reconstruct, change my mind set, and be the person he's always wanted me to be. So I discovered all these blessings that I had totally neglected because of my limiting beliefs, that all I could see was the misery that I was a mistake, that I couldn't have children, that I was in the Air Force and I got hurt and I couldn't continue that career, that I became a radiation therapist treating
Yes.
cancer patients. That was the irony, that treating those cancer patients taught me how to live, because those children, those little kids would say, I want to remember smiles, and here terminal. Okay. And the parents would be just didn't know what to do besides themselves, that they just couldn't deal with it. But I was like, okay, I'll make you smile. I'll be a clown. I don't care. To me, it was fun, but they also taught me how to live. So I cherish that more than ever, especially not continuing that career. But somehow or another, I discovered that I was service oriented.
Yes.
And so even when I was going through college or the university, the medical university, I volunteered for 15 years, and I was like, I like this, because
Mm-hmm.
it's fulfilling. It doesn't, it's not money, and you don't get it stolen from you. It stays with you, and you ooze with love.
Yes.
But I
Yes.
didn't quite get all that. I only had pieces and bits of it.
Right.
The pandemic hits. I'm like flashing back to being in the wheelchair and all the misery all over again. I said, no, not today, not this time. No, 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 no. So I started taking empowering courses, and I started deducting all those little patterns that I had a trail of. And I even had this like enlightenment that says, okay, you want to write a horror story with your biography, or do you want to make it a different and change the perspective and find all the blessings? So I went with the blessings. The title of my book is Resilience Nourishes the Soul. It was the
I
best
love it.
decision, second best, no, third best decision. The first one was going in the Air Force to
Okay.
get away from the toxic environment that I
Yes.
had grown up in. I gained independence. It tasted so good. I loved it, but somehow I got drawn back into being with my parents for guilt or for whatever it is that they
Yes.
knew how to instill in you.
Of course.
So I
Yes.
came back and rescued them. Actually, the black sheep of the family wasn't so black. My brother's abandoned boat, and so dad had Alzheimer's, mom had cancer. And then I remembered that I had gotten all this training for a good purpose.
Yes.
And that was what cured all the ill feelings. I was able to forgive myself. I was able to learn how to love myself, because that's what it was. I was giving it all away and not reserving anything for me. And when I discovered that, it's like, oh my God. And now it's coming at me full force, and it oozes out of you. And people think I'm on medication or drunk. I don't care. I'm punch drunk with love.
I
I
hear you.
want the world to have hope. I
Yes.
want the world to see the light, the beauty, the truth, the
Mm-hmm.
things that are free are
Yes.
here with us. Enjoy them and focus on being the you that you are meant to be, the
Yes.
miracle God made you. So
Yes.
I started all that little
Uh-huh.
thing I cooked a little recipe, and I figured out, okay, Martie, all those lessons, all those experiences, you can teach about resilience.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a living example that you've survived all these surgeries, that you've survived culture shock, that you've
Yes.
survived not knowing the language. You know universal language because you met so many people. You used to complain that you traveled so many times, visited so many places. Not everyone can say that. Not everyone gets the opportunity
Yes.
to learn about humanity in the
Yes.
fashion I
Oh
did.
yeah.
And not only did I learn English and Spanish, but in high school, I took French. So I'm like, and then when I went to the medical university, I started doing the Latin, and I was like,
Oh.
I might be a little bit more than I think I am. So you start getting all these
Oh
little
yeah.
check
Mm-hmm.
marks on and you're like, okay, I'm not too shabby. I don't know what the heck was my problem, but
Hey,
I'm blessed with the husband. We've been married 42 years, and that he's been my
congratulations.
savings grace. He has been my coach, my mentor, and everything. And he was there babying me through the worst misery with all the surgeries and everything. So I
Beautiful.
feel very blessed. And now it's like, just pay it forward. Pay it forward, Martie. And you're gonna say that your life was worth living. That all that misery that you went through was for a bigger purpose, for a higher purpose,
Yes.
that you discovered your passion, your mission, and your purpose. Now teach other people how to do the same. And together we can make this world better. Together we can cure a
Yes.
whole lot of ailments and
Yes.
things that
Yes.
we
Yes.
have
Yes.
complicated because of life. There,
Oh.
it became the resilience ambassador. I was dubbed that, and I really love what I'm doing, because now I'm focusing on the youth,
Oh,
because I've always
beautiful.
I have
Beautiful.
never in my coming up seen anyone that was concerned about teaching us life skills, about survival, about
I
how to cook your own meals,
Yes.
how to do
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
That's
totally agree with you.
I'm not even letting you talk, but I'm just so
No,
excited.
no, no, no. It's your
And not
platform,
only
please.
that, it's like I wanna gather all these kids that are coming out of college
Yes.
or high school,
Well,
and they're still doubting that there's anything out there for them.
right.
Perhaps they haven't found their passion.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps they feel like they're just obligated to go to the corporate job
Yes.
and be a slave and retire and maybe have all your wits about you when you're old enough to not enjoy anything, versus enjoy your life while you're growing, while you're thriving, while you're sharing, while you're
Yes.
loving life and loving each other.
Yeah.
So now we're doing a course for those kinds of people, and
Mm-hmm.
anyone's welcome, but it's entrepreneurs that want to figure out how to go about it. So we
Right.
will assign like projects, like I don't know, like forming teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you wanna promote swag, a t-shirt, whatever. Okay, you can do this, you can do that. And then they get to find that, hey, we work good as a team.
Right.
And maybe they'll find something that they didn't know they were capable of doing, which is what's happened with me. When I got in with the right people,
Yes.
surrounded by the average person, of being the ones that tell me, which I always thought they were crazy. I was like, what? They don't see, they don't know what I've lived. They don't have a clue. But they would say, Martie, you can this and you can that. And I was like, oh, you just don't know. You don't know. But eventually you start hearing it enough and you start believing it.
Yes.
And that's what happened when I wrote the book. It just started building all that confidence. Not only did I write the book, before the book, I had lost 70 pounds, 70 inches. I was already a mess in my body, but I decided to become a personal trainer, and I did. I did it
Yes.
at 62 years old.
Yes.
Okay, I was like, the Martie from 10 years ago, she's like, okay, Martie, go pick you a little mountain hopping wheelchair that you're gonna go outside and enjoy nature one way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter if you have to drag race your way through the the obstacles, but it's just I just saw something, and I'm like a little kid in a candy store. I can't wipe the smile because it's coming from the heart. It's coming from
I
the
could tell.
places that I
Yes.
was the little girl that I didn't get to express that joy. So I say I'm regressing back to my childhood. I've been rejuvenated in I don't know how many forms, but
It's
my husband, he's
beautiful.
like, whoa, what happened? I married someone else. So
You
it's
know,
it's just a beautiful travel of what I've had in life, that I didn't realize how blessed I was. And that's what I want to share with the world, that people, just because you break a nail compared to what I've been through, life is not miserable. We just make it, we
yes.
complicate it.
Yes,
We
we
make
too.
But
I
anyway, that's a
agree.
little bit about Martie, Jackie of all trades, Mr.
Wow.
Done.
I am just thrilled that you're here. And oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I totally, can relate with the culture shock
Yeah.
thing because I went through that myself. And it was with Japan and the US. So that's like really, really two different cultures. So I totally get what you're saying. And that identity piece. Because growing up, I thought that also living in Japan, of course, society tells you certain things. And
Yeah.
I thought I was supposed to go to work, for a few years and then get married to a nice Japanese guy and have kids and just be a housewife and whatnot. And hello, that's not me at all. Uh,
That's it.
uh,
You
yeah.
find your way. You find
Yeah,
your
I was
way.
like, no, dad's not gonna have me he wanted to arrange a marriage for me and he was like,
Oh,
you
I
know,
had that
yeah,
happen to
yeah.
me.
And I was like, no, 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 no. So I was like, I'm gonna go to the US to study there. I'm gonna go to grad school. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been able to have the life that I have now. But yeah, I totally get that. And I think it's beautiful that you're teaching, especially kids, youth, high teens to the 20s when they really need that guidance to help them figure out where they want to go, what their passion is, what their mission is, because they still need to be with, like, Tony Robbins says this, so does my mentor Joseph, but stick with the 5 people that are going to help you to grow as a person, the personal development piece. And I remember when I was a kid, they would always say, be careful who you hang out with because you're going to become like that. And it's actually very true.
Mm-hmm.
And when you surround yourself with people that are going to empower you, that are going to lift you up, and also that you can feel that same way towards them,
It's like
it's
you
like a
lift each
beautiful
other up.
tribe. Yeah, it's a beautiful
It's
tribe.
an awesome feeling because it's like all of a sudden you got that little extra charge that's pushing you,
Yes,
because we are a bunch of little weaklings on our own, especially especially if we've had a life that's not
yes,
not for the faint of heart.
yes. And it's true. It's true. And it's when you have that tribe around you that'll just lift you up, it makes all the difference in the world, where you know that you're safe there, that you can be who you are and no one's going to judge you or hurt you.
Mhm.
It's all just from love. And when it's coming from love, like you said, from the heart and from love, it just makes such a difference to anyone. And of course, if everyone's going to thrive in a community or environment of love. So I love what you're doing. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
And I know that you're having a new book that's going to be coming out soon. Yes?
Yes, it's called Creative Chaos Warrior, and it has everything to deal with all the misinformation that we get bombarded with daily. If we don't know how to discern, if we don't stand firm in our values, our virtues, in our essence,
Yes.
then we get sidetracked. Then we go around and hit all those U-turns that we don't know how we got in there, and
Yes.
we confuse ourselves to the point where we don't know what is true. We don't
Yes.
know what is right, and we easily swayed by the opinion of society and everything, and that is so far from what we are meant to be.
Yes.
We are supposed to make our mark. We are supposed to have uniqueness and talents and
Yes.
treasures and all the things that empower each of us to be a better community, a better nation, a better
Right.
country, a better world. And that,
Right.
yeah, I couldn't have it better spelled out for me. It took me 60 years.
Hey,
It
you
took
got
me a
here. You got here. That's the main thing.
but
You
it's
know?
never too late.
Late. I agree.
And
100%.
if you teach this at an early age, imagine what would come
Oh
of
my
the
gosh.
future generations.
I
You
know.
there's no
I
argument that when you learn the right things,
Oh
the
yeah.
things are gonna grow, expand, and be better.
I know.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't think anybody can argue that with me. But if they do, could show me how, because I figured it out.
No, I don't think anyone could argue that point because
Mhm.
I mean, I just wonder if I had known all the things that I know now about, personal development, about surrounding myself with people that are going to empower me,
Yep.
even to be more assertive, I would have been a totally different person. I would have been in a different situation. I wouldn't have had to go through all the crap that I have to go through. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But you study all the people that have been successful, and you can't argue with this either,
Yeah.
that every one of them was considered a failure.
Yes.
Every one of them has suffered some kind of mishaps, of trauma, drama,
Yes.
and everything else. But that's what strengthens the spirit. That's what
Yes.
makes you temperate
It's
and
yeah.
bold and
Yep.
daring and creative. And
Yep.
so that book shows you exactly how to get away from that boom, 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 and bombard you, and just learn to be a warrior, learn to
Wow.
be creative, learn to be
I
your
love
own
that. Yeah,
self.
I love that. Yeah, to be a warrior, because we need to be warriors and
That's
fight for our own selves, to fight for our own lives, so that we
Mhm.
can shine in the light that we were supposed to shine in.
That's
And
it.
I think that's such a beautiful thing, that your message is so beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
when is this book coming out? I'm just curious now.
I think
It's out
before
now?
October.
Oh,
I haven't been given a specific date, but it's on
okay.
the way.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yay.
definitely excited about it. And
Yes.
that's not the only project I have. I have one in Spanish, Latinas or Expertas Sin Fronteras. That's Experts Without Frontiers,
Frontiers.
which is also everything to do with the life skills, the
Wow.
empowerment. God is just throwing me in a I don't know. I call it the easy bake oven. All of a sudden, my inspiration is coming, and I can't
That's
stop writing and sharing the message.
that's the way it is. That's the way it is. I mean, it's like when you start, all the puzzle pieces are starting to fit, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I totally get that because I feel that my life is the same way. That's why I'm like, I could totally relate, and I'm like so excited, and I could feel your excitement. I could feel your joy. And it's such a beautiful thing. And, with that energy, I'm sure, everything is going to be successful, and your mission and your message is going to get through to everyone.
Thank
And so a few other questions, and then we'll close this up. But what does brain to belly mean to you?
Brain to belly means you have to have everything lined up. Your brain affects the way you think, affects your emotionals, which affects your body, which irritates your guts, which irritates all these little. That's why we get sick, when we don't have everything aligned, when we have our mind. And I think that's what God was saying. Okay, we're going to fix your mind, we're going to change that little chip. Your body, we're going to reduce the weight, and you're going
Yeah,
to feel more agile. And then your soul, because I regained my faith too. Why? Because I was given
the
the
tool.
privilege of
Yes,
getting out of
yes,
a wheelchair and becoming a resilient person and sharing it with the world. And to me, that wasn't what I had seen. I was depressed. I had attempted suicide, and that was. Whew, I'm so happy that the right people showed up. I'm so happy those little angels were there along the path, showing me what love was, showing me what compassion, what empathy, what don't give up, be courageous, be daring, be bold, and be you.
yes, yes. And of course, the person up there had better, more plans for you, and
Absolutely.
yes, things for you to
Without him, I
do.
wouldn't have made it this far.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. I understand. And so, for our viewers here, where can they reach you? And I know, is there anything else besides the book? That are you having any workshops or any
Well,
webinars coming up?
in that
Mhm.
teaching the youth, I'm going to be doing like audio courses for the kids that are going to go work out and work on their body and their
Oh,
minds.
that's good. Oh,
Then
that's
they're going
great.
to then they're going to be applying all this knowledge so they can thrive and grow and be as happy and as joyful as I've become, because someone led me the right way to do all these things. And you have to have faith, you have to believe in
Oh,
yourself and believe in God, and there is a higher purpose, and we just may not have dealt with them,
yes.
but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and we are all a miracle. We
Yes,
are.
we are. I agree
But you
100%.
can find me everywhere on social media. I will leave the links with you, and we
Yes,
can put
thank
it
you.
there. But this is on Amazon, and it's both in English and
Yeah.
Spanish. And I've written other books, but they've been like co-authors, with different
Okay.
anthologies. But either way, I'm just tickled to be sharing it with the right people, with the people that corroborate with each other, and they show me things that I didn't know I was capable of doing. So it's just awesome, and that's what's the beautiful part is all the people that gather around you, that five
Yes. The
average
five
of five
people.
people
Yeah.
that come.
Yeah.
If you have those that have all those ingredients that you've never dealt with, you all of a sudden you do get
Yeah.
spicy, you do create a
Yes.
new recipe of yourself, and then
Oh,
all of a
yeah.
sudden, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
And you look back at your past, instead of dreading everything you did, you're like, hey, I got through that. And I got through that, and look at me now. And if I got
Hmm.
through all of that, there's no telling how far I could go from here. So it's just
Exactly. I
it's
love that
mind blowing.
attitude.
It's mine
Yeah.
to do with it, but
Yeah.
love it.
And and it's really that shift, that perspective shift, and I love it. And I think it's such a beautiful thing that you're sharing.
Thank
And thank you so much for being here today with us
you.
and
God
sharing your
bless you.
story and sharing your energy with us. So I could feel it
Anytime.
on the Zoom. So thank you so much.
Thank
Okay. So everyone, please reach out to Martie and get her books and really listen, and her
And if
message.
you feel that you're
Yeah,
conquering all that I'm talking about, share it with someone. Someone might
yes,
need to hear this little old lady tell them about how life can mess you up and reconstruct you and do you better.
yes. And it's never too late. I love that. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
God bless everyone. Thank you for listening.